Hello and welcome to Autodesk Inventor Professional 2013. For this tutorial we're going to be designing a wheel, a tire, and then assembling the two parts together for your first assembly experience. And we're also going to be looking at grid settings and how to use a grid to draw. So let's start off by starting a new file. So I'm going to go New and Standard IPT, click on that and Create. And this is going to bring us into our new drawing file. Just takes a second to load up here. Okay, here we are in our new drawing file. So, first thing we want to do is we want to go to the Application Options. So I click on the Tools tab at the top, and then the Applications option window. And that brings us into this space here. Lots of different things we can do here. One of the favorites is colors. So we can go through and we can change the color of our display to find something a little more suiting to what you're doing. So let's say, we'll just keep it at sky for now. Now what we want to do here though is I'm going to go to Sketch and we're going to change our sketch settings. We want to make sure our grid lines are turned on and our coordinate system is turned on. The grid lines allow us to see where we're drawing, and the coordinate system indicates the exact point where our cursor is when we're starting a line. We also want Snap to Grid, and once you've selected those things, we're good to go. So let's click OK at the bottom, and now we're back into drawing. So I go 3D Model, and I want to go Create 2D Sketch. Click on that, and you can see there's my planes. We want to draw on the front plane, so I'm going to click on that plane, and it brings it to the orientation. We've got our 0, 0 point down here, and we're going to try to draw in this coordinate. So I'm just going to pan a little bit here, get that down the bottom, zoom out, pan a little more. Okay, so we're going to use Cartesian system to draw these lines. So I'm going to start off the line tool, and I'm going to start it at 0, 0. And you can see on the screen there, I've got x, 0, y, 0. So I click there, and I'm going to move my mouse over to 2, 0. So that's 2 inches in the x-axis and 0 inches in the y. So I click there. There we go. Now I'm still in the line command, so I can hit the escape key to finish that off. So now I've got a line down here at the bottom. Now the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a quarter of my wheel. So line tool again, and I'm going to go to 0, 0.5. So we move the mouse up. There we go. So there's 0 in the x and 0.5 in y. I click, and I want to go over to 2 and 0.5, so the other end of that line. So there's 2, and we can see at the bottom in our Cartesian system, that's just down here, that is 2 and 0.5. So I click there. Now we're going to start going up and drawing the profile. So from here I'm going to go to 2, 1. So let's find 1. There's 2, 1. I'm going to click. From 2, 1, I'm going to go to 1, 2. There's 1, 2. I've got to zoom out a little bit because it's getting a bit big. And let's just pan it into a little better perspective. There's my line tool again. So we'll start back there. And that was 1, 2. So now I'm going to go to 1, 5. And you can see at the bottom, don't look at the one on the screen where by the mouse, look at the one at the bottom of the screen right here. Okay, so let's go up to 1, 5. There we go. From 1, 5, I'm going to go to 2, 6. There we go, 2, 6. From 2, 6, I want to go to 2, 7. From 2, 7, I want to go to 1, 7. From 1, 7, I'm going to go to 1, 6. And from 1, 6, I'm going to go to 0, 6. So I've drawn out the shape of my wheel. I'm just going to add one more line down here. So this doesn't look like a wheel yet. This is just a quarter section of it. So the next step I want to do is mirror this section over. I'm going to select my mirror tool from under the pattern menu. Click on that. So it wants me to select. So I'll select that geometry there. There's my mirror line. I'll click on that, and I click Apply. You can see the other side showed up. I can click Done, Now click on that line and delete. So I'm left with my finished sketch here. There's no dimensions on it, but because I followed the Cartesian system as I drew it, I know that everything is down to the right size. So let's click Finish Sketch. That brings us back into 3D space, and we're going to do a revolve. Now revolve is going to take that profile and revolve it around that center axis. So I click revolve, click my profile, and then axis, click my axis, and you can see the wheel showing up. So I click check mark because I'm done, and there's my wheel. So I'm going to save this, save as. Now I've already made a file on my desktop called wheel. You should make a file in your data drive and your flash drive, and if you're using your account into your account, just make sure you have a backup of everything. And we're going to call this wheel. Now this is the second wheel I've done, so we'll call it wheel 2 and save. So now this file is saved. The next step we want to do is resave it. We're going to reuse the geometry. So I'm going to go save as again. And instead of wheel, I'm going to call this tire. And save. So now I've got two identical files, one's for the wheel, one's for the tire. I'm going to click my plus beside Revolution 1, and that brings up the sketch. Right click on the sketch, edit sketch, and I'm going to modify this and change this into the tire because I know that these lines match the rim exactly. Whatever you do, do not delete this line at the bottom. We need that for the revolution. But we're going to delete this stuff. We're going to delete that. We're going to delete that. And we're left with the bottom profile of the tire. So from here, let's draw the tire. There's my line tool. I'm going to click up. Let's go up. And you guys can just follow the tire at your discretion. I'm going to go 1-inch tire. There we go. There's my tire, kind of a basic shape. Now my edges are square. Most tires don't have square edges, so let's use the fillet tool. We're set to 1/4 inch, so it's probably too small. Let's set that to 3/8, so 0.375. There's one corner. There's the other corner. So I've got the profile of my wall. This is a 1/4 section. Finish sketch. And now my rim has turned into my tire. I can change the material up here. I can click on that. Change my default material to rubber. So under R. A little farther. Let's go rubber green. And here's my tire. So we'll save this because it's already the tire. And now we need to open an assembly file. So I'm going to go down here, open assembly. And now this is going to start a new assembly file. Now in an assembly file we can take parts and put them together. So let's start by placing a part. So I click place. I want to open my wheel. Open. Yeah. And there's my wheel. And our tire. So tire. Open. Yes. So there's my two parts. Now I hit escape because I'm finished. Now I want to constrain these together. So I'm going to use my constrain tool at the top here. I click constrain. And lots of options here, but we're just going to be using mate and flush right now. So we're going to leave it to mate. Mouse over so we get that center axis. See the line that showed up in the middle of the wheel, the long dash, short dash? That's our center axis. Click on that. And I want to get the same for this wheel. Make sure not to click the circle with the point because that's going to make a pivot. We want the whole axis. So I click and apply, cancel. You can see how that's sticking together now. They're constrained to that axis. But again, the tire is not on the wheel yet. So let's go constrain again. Now I could go flush, and I can flush this face to this face, or I could go mate and mate this face to the inside face. So let's do that. So we have mate, turn it around, and we'll mate to that inside face, apply, cancel. And there we go. You can see the wheel moving there, or the tire moving on the wheel, but it's constrained into place. So using the constraints, we've made those two things stick together. Okay, that's it for this tutorial.